Alright guys, and girls, we're putting our middle finger foot pegs back on, also called the salute. Now, if you're putting aftermarket foot pegs on this, you're going to need a stopper. You're going to probably have to make something like I did. This is a stopper, and I'm using a piece of rawhide as a spacer. Otherwise, what's going to happen is, I'll show you. We'll put it on without my stopper and my spacer. Okay, what's going to happen is that's what's going to happen. So, what we did, my original ones, I lost them. I think I threw them out. So, this is just a piece of aluminum I made, drilled a hole. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass to get in, but once it's in, it works. And I hand tighten them. So as you see, that's as far as it goes. Now I could even make a thicker piece of aluminum so this won't move at all, but this, let's go check out the other side. Before we go over the other side, let me give you guys a longitudinal look. Alright, let's go to the other side. So, see, I got this one in already, guys. And they're... See, that's as far as that goes. And it's straight with the bike. So, this one over here... Man, I can't believe how that all evaporated in. That was all goddamn old brake fluid. Look at that. It evaporated. Okay, so anyway, back to this. So they're straight with the controls. Now I'm going to see how they feel. Alright. Take my glasses off. I'm blind with them on, blind with them off, guys. Oh yeah, I like this. That's my rear brakes making that noise. Oh, sorry, the front ones. I got the front ones on. See, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about right now. So, anyway, the right ones. And you know, I'm 270 pounds with a size 13 extra wide boot. So, you know, these support me. They're strong. But I make sure I got my kickstand down because I don't want to body slam myself like I did earlier this year. Okay. I'm going to leave my tools there because we're going to change the rear brake pads. We're going to put new brake pads in the back. We put these back in their little house. Yeah, I looked everywhere in here for the other set of stoppers I made for those, and well, see, what I did is you notice I cleaned up in here a little bit, and I also got a new throw rug for in here too. I found that in the trash as well. So, you know, I cleaned up in here a little bit. Best thing I could have did, guys, was to put a carpet down on my garage floor. That way when you lay down in here, you're not laying on cold, bare, dirty concrete. You're laying on a rug. This is the best thing I ever did in here. And I miss my dog, guys. He was, man, he was like the life of the party in this house. I mean, he did, you know, it's like what he would do. Hold on, let me pause you guys a bit. I'm gonna sit down. You know, it's like some of the stuff he would do. First of all, he was always around us. Wherever we'd go, he'd be with us. If we'd go in the living room, he'd come in the living room with us. If we'd be in bed, he would either be laying on the bed with us or beside the bed or at the bottom of the bed on the floor. And every time I would get up, if he was on the floor, he'd jump up on the bed and lay where I was laying, and he wouldn't move, so I would have to get like a cracker and throw it at the bottom of the bed. Then he'd go get the cracker, he'd move, and then I could lay down. He would do that all the time, which I miss it now. You know, it was getting on my nerves before, but now I miss it. You know, and that was every single time we would sit on the bed, he'd do this. You know, I miss it. Another thing he would do was, he wasn't table trained real good. He would actually wait until you turn your head, then he would literally snatch stuff out of your plate on a dinner table. Yeah, he was real slick about it. You know, like you're eating. As soon as you turn your head up, he would, bam, he would just, like if you're eating spaghetti, he would just take a mouthful of spaghetti off your plate. As for bread, he was crazy about bread. Crazy about it. I'm 100% certain he had a brain aneurysm. I think he had a tumor for at least 2, maybe 3 years. It was growing inside his brain. In other words, he had brain cancer. That's what a tumor is. And I'm pretty sure he had a brain aneurysm. But I'll tell you guys, I miss that dog, man. The video I'm making is called My Dog Brother Max. I found another 333 pictures I'm also putting up on the video I'm making. And they're on my old iPhone. So I got to transfer my pictures from my iPhone onto my Google Drive. Then with my tablet, I go onto Google Drive and I download those onto the tablet. You know, because I got all Samsung products right now. I gave up on, I don't like Apple. I don't have any Apple products except for my old iPhone 5. The reason why I don't like Apple is because there's too many updates. But yeah, as for Max, guys, I miss him. It would have been nice for him to stick around for Christmas, but you know, it was his time. He was in his age limit. That type of husky lives for 10 to 15 years. He was, from what I know, he was 12 years old, possibly 13 years old. Because we had him for 10 years. And when we got him, the mother of her son had 3 of them. And they weren't getting along, so she gave us Max for free. You know, when we asked her how much was he, she said, just take him, because he's not getting along with the other dogs, and he'll have a better house. He'll have a better home with us, which he did. I don't think anybody else would have gave him a better life than me and my wife did. You know, because he was never on a leash. He never had a collar. He always had a harness. From day one, I gave him a harness. Took him to the beach 4 times. I used to walk him everywhere, including I would go downtown Pittsburgh with him. I fed him chicken breast and vegetables. I didn't give him dog food. He had I kept him on like chicken breast, liver. I gave him steak, ground beef. You know, so yeah, I miss him something terrible, guys. Something terrible. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful animal. Wonderful. You know, I think I told you guys he attacked my wife in her sleep. He almost tore her nose off. There's a scar going down the top of her, and she knows she'll probably have for the rest of her life. I mean, there was a lot of blood on her. You know, I think that was because of the tumor. So Anyway, guys, about the aftermarket foot pegs, that's what you might have to do. You might have to do that, you might not. But like with those Salute foot pegs, without those stoppers, those are going to be loose as hell, and basically you won't be able to use them without those stoppers. The stoppers I made, they're out of aluminum. I think the plate's like a 1/8 of an inch thick, maybe 3/16 thick. You know, and they were simple to make. And I had a piece of aluminum, like a little square piece of aluminum left, maybe 2 by 2. I cut those out with a pair of bolt cutters, and I just sanded the edges. I bent them on my vise, and I drilled a hole. And then the spacers are made out of leather because washers weren't thick enough. So I had to make my spacers out of leather, and I had to sand the leather down a little bit, then wet it in some water. And I think they're better than the OEM foot pegs. I like those better. They're more of a secure feel for my shoes, and because the middle finger is coming out like that, it gives me more room and more support. You just got to watch the tip of that finger will catch on your shoelaces and your pants leg, and you'll wind up falling on a bike. That's the only thing you got to be real careful with those. This is probably the last ride, because I think we're supposed to get snow now. So this is probably the last ride until next year. What I'll do now is I'm going to replace my my rear brake pads. I think my front brake pads are okay, but I'm going to look at them anyway. But I'm putting new pads in the back, and I think that's all it needs, because those rear brakes were working pretty good for me. So I'm going to replace the rear brake pads, and then we'll polish this up. We'll polish the wheels again, and we'll polish the engine, all aluminum. My oil's good. That's cool. So take it easy, and I'll work on that video from Max.